What's up, Eagle Empire? I'm Ted McCoart, and this is Tuesday TED Talk. Today I'm here at MSU Rec and Wellness Field, home of the MSU Eagles soccer team. Also home to Morehead State Soccer senior Ashley Ritchie. Ashley Ritchie is Morehead State senior who's battled through quite a bit of adversity during her time here. But she came to Morehead State as a very decorated high school athlete from the state of Kentucky, the all-time leading goal scorer for her career at her time when she graduated from Thomas Nelson High School. Came to Morehead State, was named All-OVC Freshman of the Year after her freshman season, but since has struggled through some injuries. This season though, Ashley looks to come back after battling through two serious injuries, a back injury and also Achilles injury. She looks to battle back to lead the Eagles this year on the pitch and hopefully take them back to the Ohio Valley Conference tournament where they could potentially claim their fourth Ohio Valley Conference championship. I sat down with Ashley for a little bit of an interview today in the Morehead State Soccer locker room. Let's kick it over to that. Now we're here with Morehead State Soccer senior Ashley Ritchie. Ashley, how we doing?
I'm doing great.
I really appreciate you joining me here for this Tuesday TED Talk. We take a little bit of a look inside who Ashley Ritchie is, a student athlete, and you've had quite the journey here at Morehead State, to say the least. Isn't that right?
Yes, it is. Quite a long time.
You, of course, let's talk a little bit about your background. Before you come to Morehead State, set the state record for goal scoring. You come from New Haven, Kentucky, Thomas Nelson High School. There you set the KHSAA state record for goals scored. Talk a little bit about that.
Yes, I did. My senior year was kind of a wild little journey because I was so close to breaking that, and people always, my senior year talked about it a lot. It's actually one that I am very proud of, but I'm also very proud I'm actually on the list as assists as well, and a couple other ones. And so the assist one kind of, even though the goal is really nice, I'm really kind of proud of the assist. So I always like to mention that just because that's really important to me that, my teammates were there to support me through the goals, but also was there to support them. And so that's always nice. But it was a crazy senior year trying to reach it. And, it was so important. My coach was really excited about it, and my teammates were always there for me through it. So
199 career goals. How many, what's the assist total?
I actually don't remember the actual number of assists total. I'm not number one on the assists, but I think I'm like maybe 3 or 4, and so it's up there too, but it's not near 199.
199 goals is impressive. I scored 2 in high school, and that was hard enough for me. I mean, so that's really impressive for you to accomplish that. How long have you been playing soccer? Let's even go back even further. When did you realize, hey, I'm pretty good at this?
So I started playing when I was around 6. I originally my mom tried me out in softball, all these other sports, and in softball I just sit out there in the dirt playing, and so I wasn't really interested. And then randomly they put me in soccer, and I just loved it. And just from then on out, it was my sport. It's what I did every day. My dad coached me. We were on the field from daylight to nighttime. It never ended, and it kind of brought me now today who I am as a soccer player, so I'm kind of thankful for it.
And there's like you said, softball, you sit in the dirt. There is no setting in soccer. You are back and forth. It
was so much more exciting. You got to go out, and as a little 6-year-old, it's a little more physical too. I was always a little physical child. I like to play with all the other kids, and especially the boys love to play with them. And so it was all kind of nice to get to get a little physical activity, but not too much at 6 years old to where it was like too aggressive. So it was nice. It was a good starting point in my life.
Now, also a big thing with soccer is the club level and stuff. Did you play club soccer coming up?
Yes, I played for, originally I went to Thoroughbreds. I played in Bardstown a lot. I had a coach, Martin Balkins. I grew up playing with him most of my life, my dad. But then I moved to Louisville, and I played for the Thoroughbreds, and then we combined a team in Louisville into KFJ that it is now, and I played for 2 coaches at KFJ, and my whole high school career I played for Kentucky Fire. So I absolutely loved that, and that definitely was what changed for me as a soccer player, was playing club soccer, and got to meet so many more people. And obviously, when I first came here, several girls came with me from that team, and so we all kind of moved into playing college soccer together, and they're not on the team anymore, but we all grew up playing soccer together and then came here, so it was really nice.
Now, do you go back home to Thomas Nelson, and people say, hey, there's Ashley Ritchie. She's the all-time goal-scoring champion of the world. I
actually haven't been back to Thomas Nelson in a little while. I went a couple years back and forth and went about once a year for a memorial game, and I used to go to that a lot. But I haven't went back in a while, but several people do. They do recognize me and know who I am. And, people have sent me the sign. They made a sign for me at Thomas Nelson, so they have one up, and people send it to me and be like, oh, this is cool. And so it's really nice that people do recognize me for soccer, especially, you put so much time into it. And so it is great.
And soccer at the high school level in Kentucky has just grown. I'm sure that you saw it grow from the time you were a youth up until now.
Yeah, from where I started, and, even my freshman year, because my high school when we started was a brand new high school. Very first year, there was no seniors. There's just brand new, so we started from zero.
And you wrote the record book. Huh?
Yeah, we had to start from nothing. So it was a lot having to start out from that and kind of build the program. Yeah. And the girls that I played with in high school, we literally built the first 4 years of that program, and so it took a lot though.
Now let's talk about your journey to Morehead State to get here. Of course, you were like a very accomplished, decorated high school player. But you obviously were being touted by several schools, but you landed on Morehead State, and what brought you here to this program, and what other schools were kind of in that process, and what was that like going through that?
We always do this camp, and recruits always ask what the process is like, and it truly is the craziest process you will go through. You're having these people be like, oh no, I want you to come here, and most people are sophomores in high school now when they start doing it, or freshmen even are starting to look. And I was a junior when I even started looking at schools. And I looked into, from WKU to Louisville to a couple of NAI schools. I looked everywhere, every level, every place. I looked into Ohio schools. Morehead kind of stuck out to me. They threw me off because they just emailed me one day and was like, come for a visit, and I did, and they told me a little about the program, and I really loved it, and it was closer to home, and so it was nice. But I loved other schools too, so it kind of came down to a decision process of which one I felt was better for me, and I liked the smaller atmosphere here too as well, so that's kind of what set the deal for me.
And Morehead State kind of gave you the same hometown feel that you had back home?
I always tell people that this reminds me so much of home. It took me no adjustments. People like, Katie Quinn's from Ohio, and she's like, this took me for a loop when I came here. It's so much different. It's almost exactly like my hometown. Small, friendly, everybody knows everybody, and so it didn't really shock me when I came here, and I liked that factor. At first, I thought I was going to go, I was like, oh, I'll go to Louisville. It's so big. It's so nice. No, it just overwhelmed me, and so this was the better fit.
And that's a big part of it. Now, you mentioned how in high school you were kind of walking into a new school and having to start new traditions and things, but here at Morehead State Soccer, you walked into a program that had just won a Ohio Valley Conference Championship in 2013, had 3 of those to its name in its first 20 years, so still a new program, but it already established itself. What was it like coming into that? And you had some pretty good players that you were playing with when you first walked into this locker room here.
Oh yes, when I first came here, which obviously we did not have a big upperclassmen group. When I came in, I had people like Angela Black and Tonya and Taylor Stivers who were very competitive, and so it was kind of a weird adjustment because I went from being in high school, I was this top player in comparison, and we had several of them, but we didn't have a whole group. And so it was a big adjustment coming into those people and trying to meet their standards and meet coaches' standards as well, because it's always new. New coach is always hard because you learn how to play with them. It took a while. It took a lot of adjustments. It took me a couple weeks to really even understand what was going on. And that freshman year just hits you hard with classes and soccer all coming together. So you really takes you just straight into it. And having that upperclassmen group, though, that was very supportive was very nice.
Yeah, you roll in here on August 1st, and they say, all right, we're going to take your headshots, and then let's go to the fitness test.
Literally, the first day when you walk in, I tell everybody, I was like, just breathe. You run the fitness test, usually in the morning, and then right after it, you're getting headshots, you're getting uniforms, you're getting fit for things, you're getting all your gear. He's telling you our first practice, what formation you're probably going to play. It's so overwhelming. You're getting thrown everything at once, but it's also so exciting because it took so much time to get there, and you're just getting thrown into it. But it's like, I'm finally here, and I don't have to, you don't have to go through the process anymore. You're in college now, but it's overwhelming.
So it's time to start learning. You kind of everything, all the questions in your head are quit going around, and you're just ready to lock yourself in.
We had this group, Taylor Stimers, Angela, and them that have been here, and they were like, listen, if you have a question, ask us. We'll go get you through it. We're going to go step by step. And we try, me and Katie being fifth years now, are kind of trying to help do that too, as well as, the group below us. It's Katie K, all of them that are very good as well, that we're all kind of stepping into that role now, and we're kind of adjusting to having to explain things when we really don't even know what we're doing half the time either still. So
don't let Coach Lipke know that.
I know.
Now let's talk about Coach Lipke. Did you know Coach before you came here? He established the program at Kentucky, and he's here at Morehead State. And did you know anything about Coach Lipke?
I knew nothing about Coach Lipke, actually, not anything. I didn't even know what he looked like until I got here.
Okay.
I knew Tripp because his first year was the year before I got here. And so I knew him, and he was really who kind of recruited me into this. But I had no clue even what Coach Lipke looked like until I got here. So it was a little bit of adjustment with him, but I had kind of seen Tripp around, especially playing like ODP growing up, and he was at a couple college invitational stuff like that before, but I really didn't know him as people. But yeah, it was kind of, I just walked in like, hi, and I didn't even know which one, like there was like three people sitting there. I was like, which one's Coach, basically? Like I was like, oh, and he started talking, and since then it's kind of been.
And once you figured out one's bald, one's not.
Yeah, you kind of figure it out after that.
Now, freshman year, like you were saying, it is an adjustment coming in, but hey, you adjusted very quickly. OVC Freshman of the Year that first year, 8 goals. I believe you were third in the conference in goals scored that year, and maybe somewhere in the tops in points scored with assists and goals combined. And then you led the team in goals scored that freshman year. What was that like, and how was how receptive was your team kind of coming up of you?
It was really kind of odd at first trying to play with a new group. You always have this experience, but they were a very good group to work with. You get thrown into 20, 28 girls that you don't know. And I did get lucky that I had girls with me that I knew, but when you come in and you're accomplishing things and they do support you, but still it's always a competition. And so it's kind of, you're always fighting to win and score and do everything. Everybody wants to do these things. And so it was still an adjustment for that, but they were very supportive and very, obviously they want to win. Whether I score or they score, everybody wants to win. So it was nice to have that support system. It did take a while to, you obviously have people that had started before me and stuff like that. In like my freshman year coming in, Angela had moved from forward to defense. And so it was kind of an adjustment for her as well, that we had me, Abby, Tim, Danny, they were all forward. So they kind of told her, this would be a great spot for you. And she filled it great. So it was interesting to have these people support you and just want you to succeed.
Yeah, and the year before you came along, Abby Tim was freshman of the year also, I believe. And so you guys kind of had a lineage there.
Me, Ange, and Abby Tim all did.
So you guys had built quite the repertoire of players there. But now let's fast forward on and a little bit further. And maybe you guys lost some of those players that you said came along through the years, or came along with you that you kind of knew. But you guys have went through a little bit of growing pains till that sophomore year, and ended the way it did. But you come back getting ready for your junior year and suffer an injury.
Yeah, it was disappointing, say the least. Yeah, it took a lot to accept, but now it's kind of just getting over it now.
and it was quite a painful injury. It's like a lower.
I had pars fractures in my back, and so it was basically like a crack in your spine. So I had to get that lumbar fusion to do that. And so it was a rough little year sitting out.
It caused you to miss your junior year. And then last year, spring soccer last year, we're in spring schedule right now. Last year, spring soccer, you come out and the Achilles pops.
Yep, a good 8 minutes in that first spring game back. It really did me in.
You called it the OVC freshman year curse.
Yes, it is. It is. We definitely have that. It's just, after that freshman year, it just kind of gets you. Like, it comes for you.
Now, but, hey, you battled back. I've never seen anybody really come through an Achilles injury as quickly as you did. And you managed to do it. You came back last year and played some really valuable minutes for your team. Last year, and you scored a goal out here against Morehead State that was just electric. What was it like coming back and just really, battling through that and maybe not being in the game shape, but just really wanting to be out there and compete and win for your team?
I think after sitting out for so long, people don't realize how much you're gonna miss it. And so when I first came out, I did. It just hit me that I had sat out for 2 years.
Yeah.
And so it took me a second to adjust back to it, but it was nice to know that either way I was on the field, I was playing, whether I was starting, sitting, just out practice. It was nice to be back. But yeah, coming back and getting to, start Murray and score, it was an unreal feeling. It just kind of felt like I'd achieved and reached where I was supposed to be, whether it was, obviously not in the game shape or in any way prepared to play a full season, but it was that I'd overcome something. Yeah. And so it was really nice to get to do that and get to be with the team again, no matter what it was, which obviously, I still was a part of it, but there's no better feeling than getting to celebrate with your team a win or any form of a celebration on the field. Even taking losses together is a whole different feeling. That, you have these girls that are surrounded you that are working just as hard as you or just as good as you and have just came through so much as well. And so it's just really great to just be there, and no matter what.
Well, before coming back, was there people telling you you'd never play again? I mean, I remember whenever your back injury occurred, they were saying, well, she's not going to ever get to play again. But, hey, I look out on the field, and there you are.
I had several people tell me that it was a bad idea to play again. I kind of decided for myself that I was going to try at least. Obviously, after the Achilles, it really was a step-by-step process of whether I was going to. And I did get lucky that I was here over the summer. I had to stay here for school. And so I was every day, about twice a day, I was in there with Kyle, our trainer, doing rehab every day. I had another Morgan, another trainer, was in there. And every day we were in there working hard. And so that's why it took me such a little amount of time, which obviously people didn't expect me to pass that test either. And I did. And I told Kyle at the beginning when I first did it, when I started doing rehab, that I was going to come back for season. He's like, I don't know about it. I don't know if you're going to. And I told him I was going to, and I did. I don't like to be told no, that I can't do something. So, and that's what Tripp said as well. So he knew I was going to kind of fight through it, and it was tough. It was, the back injury took me a second, but I think the Achilles was a whole different level, and I've seen people do ACLs, I've seen people hurt several injuries, but I never had an injury to where I had to completely relearn things. Yeah. And so it was a little interesting.
And to have to relearn, with your feet skills, obviously, because it's a game of soccer.
I had such a mental breakdown when I got my boot off because I did not know how to walk. Like, I could not figure out the mechanics of walking, and that was absolutely devastating. You're just like, what, am I just stupid?
So the roller coasters went from you've become the all-time leading scorer in the state of Kentucky, soccer history, and then you come to Morehead State, OVC freshman of the year, and then, oh no, I'm having to learn how to walk.
Yeah.
What a roller coaster.
It took a dive. It was devastating, to say the least, of having to go through it. But I think after looking back, I've kind of came out a lot stronger mentally and physically, and I'm getting tougher every day. And so it was horrible, but it brought some good things. And so I just kind of accept it at this point. Still don't like it, but I accept it. Yeah.
Of course, you've continued to keep working hard even after last year, and now you guys are in the spring right now. and you played a ton of minutes the other day against Marshall, your guys' first spring exhibition, and you scored a goal. Very impressive goal, by the way. I tried to catch it on camera, but I got the celebration.
So close.
So close. But what was that like to score that one? Because that one was, hey, you beat her to the ball, you planted, boom. Old school Ashley Ritchie right there.
Yeah, it took me a second to get moving. I know that. I started running. I was like, no, I'm going to run. Just keep running. And that was the most minutes I've played since my sophomore year. So it was a lot of minutes coming out. But it felt just amazing to be back and feel like myself again. And I think that was a big thing. I scored, and I'm really excited I scored. But I think my biggest takeaway from that was I just felt back to normal and back to my old self and feel like the old Ashley Ritchie. So that was great, and especially scoring. It took a lot, so it was like, I'm back. I got to score, and especially scoring with somebody like Jelly.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah.
Me and Jelly have been
Colleen
through.
Swift.
Yes, Colleen. Me and her have been through a lot these past years, and she's still kind of adjusting as well. So for both of us to come out and be the two that scored, it felt really good, and especially for us to be there for each other. We've kind of had to talk each other through injuries. She got hurt about the same time I did, and so it's been rough for both of us, but for having both of us get to score, that feeling was super unreal.
Yeah, Jelly, Colleen Swift, she had a shoulder injury that kept her out last year, so you guys are looking forward to having you and her out top this year and really kind of on the attack. What's your thoughts going through this spring with the team and into the fall next year?
I think this spring game was a big win for us.
Yeah, big eye-opener.
We didn't come out with the result obviously wanted. We didn't get everything didn't happen the way we wanted to, but I think it made us realize that we had put a lot of work and have done a lot of work. Everybody, people like me and Jelly are coming back now. We're looking at the fall in a good light because we're having all these people are getting just better and better by the day. We're having this freshman group that are starting to really fall into their spots and fall into, our program really well now, after the fall. Because it's a lot coming in freshman year and you're getting thrown into everything. So we have these people that are really adjusting now and they're understanding our concepts and things that we want to get done. Then you do have, me and Jelly getting to come back because it is nice, Katie Quinn doesn't have to play up top anymore. And so we're getting more people and more attacking range, really.
Exactly.
And especially for me and Colleen, I think both of us feel the same, that it's just nice to be on the field. So no matter where we're at, I told him I'd play goalie if he wanted me to, if he wanted to put me on the field.
You played goalie
yes,
last year.
Yes, I did.
So you did test it.
I did.
Now, you said you got Katie Quinn can kind of fall back into her midfield spot, and you guys can kind of fill out now. That must be nice seeing those people back there that hey, I know they can feed me the ball up here.
Oh yes, I've been playing with Katie now for 5 years, so the level of trust that I have in her and the way that she plays is incredible. And you have people like Katie Kiabasa who also I have an amazing amount of trust in. They put a lot of work into the midfield, and then our defender Palmer obviously always plays solid. It doesn't matter what game you throw her in, she's going to play well. And but playing with Katie and going into our 5th year together, I have no doubts that me and her are going to be perfectly fine working together. Me playing up top, her playing in the middle. Even if she was up top and I was sitting, I'd still be cheering for that girl because that again, we've been through so much together, and that level of trust that I know she's the best to have out there, and it's great to know that in your teammates.
Yeah, she's going to have your back no matter what.
No matter what, we're going with each other.
You feel you guys kind of have something to kind of really prove going into next year? I mean, or do you think, hey, we're going to take some people by surprise. They're going to forget about the Ashley Ritchie, and now here she comes, and you better watch out.
I think that as a whole, our team has something to prove, especially, conference play. We beat Belmont, and they won the OVC tournament.
Exactly, yeah.
And so it's kind of disappointing to us that we could have been at that level. But personally, I know that I do have in my heart a lot to prove because I do want to be on the field and playing. But also I think it's going to be nice that it is kind of a surprise to have our attacking group fully back with me and Jelly. And I think it's going to throw some people off because, you know, before we kind of had to adjust with some people that weren't really true forwards, and now we kind of have we have Birdie, me, Colleen, Kate Larves, all of us are just ready to go, and I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to give our team a better dynamic.
Let's talk a little bit about you in the classroom. You, of course, it's pretty interesting. You're in the radiology program, but that, of course, requires you to also pursue a bachelor's degree in university studies and all sorts of other things. Tell us a little bit about that and how much work it is. It's so much I didn't really even understand.
It's a lot. So for an associate's degree, to be eligible for soccer, you have to be in a bachelor's degree, which obviously is a university studies. So I do credits for both my bachelor's and that associate's. And obviously the associates, I'm doing a lot of clinical hours and a lot of stuff like that. And I went through a lot in the fall with that. But for me, because I want to go into ultrasound or a CT and MRI that is a bachelor's here in imaging sciences, I have to pursue the radiology degree first. And so it's kind of a lot of the degrees all at once. So I'm going to end up with quite a few, but this associates right now will finish up in the spring and start my new program in the fall. And that's going to be an adjustment, but it's a lot. It's a lot of hard work, especially, you know, our clinical hours are 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. It's a job.
And that's off campus.
Yes.
You're driving to Harrison County, was it last year?
Yes, I went to Harrison Memorial, which was a wonderful place. They were so supportive and so helpful. You know, I was going 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. practice, and then at 9:15 I had to leave to get there at 11. It was about an hour and a half drive, and so I was doing that every day, and it was rough and took a lot out of me. You know, me and Coach had to communicate a lot about it, and, you know, I had a text trip all the time that if they changed practice, I wasn't going to be there, you know, travel scheduling. But yeah, the girls at Harrison Memorial were absolutely wonderful about working with me, and so it made it easier, but it was a lot. It was a lot of traveling, especially in season when you're going back to back, and then especially coming off all these injuries. So I'm having to do rehab too as well. So it was a struggle, but it's really rewarding. I love my program, especially now I'm about to graduate. I better love it. So put a lot of work into it, and it's rough, but I'm gonna hopefully graduate with quite a few little certificates and diplomas. So that's gonna be nice.
Very decorated.
Yes.
Now, you feel, you know, Morehead State, one of the top radiology programs, degrees, certificates, I guess you would call it, in the state, and do you feel you've really been prepared for that, and what made you want to go into that?
It is a top program. It's a very competitive program. There are obviously other programs out there, but right now Morehead is the only one you can get a bachelor's in imaging sciences, so it's a very competitive. Really, I was originally a biomedical major. I did not like chemistry at all. First Chem 111 class, dropped. Was out. And so I kind of looked into, you know, obviously these other modalities, looked into nursing, and it just wasn't for me. And radiology was where I kind of fit, especially after having back surgery and stuff like that. So it was nice.
Well, Ritchie, really appreciate you sitting down with me today and telling people a little bit about you. And we really look forward to seeing you on the field this spring and this fall. Is there anybody you want to give a quick shout out to before we go?
Obviously my family. I love my mom and dad. They've always supported me, and my sister Chelsea.
All right. Well, Ashley, appreciate you joining us. You can catch Morehead State Soccer in action this spring. We'll take on Xavier on March 28th.
Yes.
And then the University of Kentucky will actually be here at the MSU Rec and Wellness Field on April 1st. Yes. That'll go at 7:30, I believe is the right time.
Yep.
You guys can catch Morehead State Soccer out here. It's a great venue. Did you really like moving over here to play here at the rec field?
It took a adjustment because we're used to playing over here, but it kind of gives us our own field, and we don't have to work around football or anybody else, so it was nice.
And I'm still trying to work on some names because MSU Recreation Intramural Field, it's too long. So I'm thinking, you know, the rec, the boneyard, there is the cemetery at the top of the hill.
We just call it the soccer field, so we don't even try to change it.
That's simple. I like that. All right, Ashley, really appreciate you joining us, and like I said, look forward to seeing you on the field this fall.
Thank you.
All right, Ashley Ritchie, guys.
Fans, this has been Tuesday TED Talk. Thanks for watching, and make sure to follow at MSU Eagles on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube to keep up with all the episodes of Tuesday TED Talk, along with our other great weekly video features for Morehead State Athletics. Once again, Ted McCoart signing off here with Tuesday TED Talk. Go Eagles.